For the introduction of this case is about a public school teacher at Pughanan Elementary School in Lambuno, Iloilo, who physically abused a grade 1 student, Michael Ryan Gonzalez. The particular reason of this case is the student accidentally bumped into the teacher and didn't apologize. And because of the situation, the anger of the teacher blows up. And she approached and punished the child physically, which resulted in injuries of the student.
The teacher's actions violated Article 8, Section 8 of Code of Ethics for Teachers, which is prohibited corporal punishment. The court ruled that her action constituted child abuse under Section 10 of Republic Act No. 7610. To prevent similar cases, schools should promote positive, nonviolent discipline through proper teachers training.
This case study is based on an incident that happened on February 13, 1996 at Pongkaan Elementary School, Labunayo, Iloilo. A grade 1 pupil, Michael Ryan Gonzalez, accidentally bumped his teacher, Felina Rosaldes, who was sleeping in the classroom. When the child did not apologize as instructed, the teacher became angry and assaulted him by pushing, and repeatedly hitting him against the floor.
Because of that incident, the student lost his consciousness, and the authority, reportedly the teacher, and the medical examination confirmed that the student suffered injuries from that incident. The teacher was charged and found out that she is guilty under the Republic Act 7610 in child abuse, confirmed and affirmed by the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court.
This case violated Article 7, Section 1, and Section 5. It says in the Section 1 that all school officials at all times show professional courtesy, helpfulness, and sympathy. Article 7, Section 1 states that teachers and school officials must always be polite, kind, and understanding. In the case of teacher Felina Rosaldes, this rule was not followed. Instead of handling the situation calmly, she reacted violently toward her students. Her actions caused physical injuries and even made a student lose consciousness. Also, speaking to a student angrily, to a grade 1 student, and demanding an apology for an intentional action shows a lack of patience and understanding. Young children often make mistakes without meaning to. A teacher should guide students in a calm, respectful way, so that they can learn better from their mistakes. Because of her action, teacher Rosaldes failed to show professionalism, courtesy, sympathy as required in this section. Also, the case violated Section 5. It says that in the Section 5, school authorities concerned shall ensure that public school accordance with pertinent civil service rules. Article 7, Section 5 means that teacher must follow the laws and rules of the teaching profession. Teacher Felina Rosaldes' actions show that she did not follow these rules. Her violent behavior goes against RA 7836 or the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994, which requires that teachers to act properly and responsibly. Her actions also violated RA Act of 7610.
Okay, so now let's talk about the Article 8 of the Code of Ethics, which is the teachers and the learners. So let's begin by knowing which section of the Article 8 has been violated in this case. So let's begin with Section 2. So what does the Section 2 tells us? So the Section 2 tells us that the first and foremost concern of the teacher should always be the welfare and the well-being, or the interests rather, of the child. So in this case, the teacher uses a physical abuse to a 7-year-old child, which we can definitely know that the 7-year-old child is incapable of receiving those kind of abuse, because both mentally and physically he is still underdeveloped. So by the time that the teacher uses a force or a physical abuse to a 7-year-old child, she is not already thinking about the welfare and well-being of the child, which makes her liable under Section 2 of the Code of Ethics. So next is the Section 3. So what does the Section 3 tells? So under no circumstances shall the teacher discriminate and prejudice the student. So the case here tells or states here in this case that the 7-year-old child accidentally bumped into her teacher while she's sleeping. So in return, the teacher uses a physical abuse to a 7-year-old child, which is, we can definitely know that a part or a example of discrimination, because we all know that the teacher is too much for a 7-year-old child. Okay, so she discriminates him in front of the class. Okay, fortunately there are two classmates, or he have a two classmate that helps him to get back home as quick as possible, which is the Luella, or the Luella and the Jonalyn. So those two classmates help him to get back home and apprise her mother about the incident. And fortunately, the barangay responded quickly to that incident. So in this case, we can clearly see that the teacher violated the Section 3 by the time that she also uses a force to a 7-year-old child that makes her discriminates him. Okay, so next is the Section 8. So here in Section 8, I'm not going to say or to tell the complete sentences in the Article 8, but rather I'm just going to focus in one phrase of the article, or the Section 8 rather. Okay, so in Section 8 tells us that a teacher shall not inflict a corporal punishment. So in this case, it clearly shows, okay, the case itself says that the teacher is what do you call this? The teacher is using a corporal punishment, or implementing the corporal punishment, which is the cupping on his or on her, no, on her ears, something like that, slamming the students, and etc. So because of these incidents, it clearly shows that she is implementing a corporal punishment that violates a Section 8. So last but not the least is the Section 9. So in Section 9, so I'm not going to tell each letter or each word of that section, but rather I'm going to concise it. So in Section 9 tells us that the maximum learning development that the teacher should provide is adequate, and the teacher should always solve the problem, okay, and extend the needed assistance if it needed. Okay, so this incident occurred because of the accident that the students bumped accidentally to her teacher. So because of this incident, as we can see, this is not that too much. This is not something that needed a physical abuse. We can settle this in a simple talk to a 7-year-old child that next time he should behave properly. But the teacher did not do that. The teacher uses a physical abuse and uses her emotion to do this thing, which clearly shows that she violated the Section 9 of the Code of Ethics.
The monitoring and performance evaluations. The teacher is closely watched for a period of time to make sure they have behaved properly and follow the ethical rules. So the visitors or the school leaders check if the teachers improve and follow the ethical rules. The second one is the strengthening school policies. The school make its rules clear and reminds to all teachers how to act professionally, respect boundaries, and behave ethically, so everyone knows what is expected. Thank you.
Teacher training and support. Conduct regular seminars on a positive discipline, classroom management, and conflict resolution. So, this solution is essential because it ensures the educators are equipped with proper knowledge and skills in positive discipline and effective classroom management. Also, regular seminars and teaching training programs helps the teacher to handle the student's behavior professionally, to prevent misuse of authority, and also to promote a safe and respectful environment. So, the next one would be immediate response to incidents. It says here that suspend the involved teacher or staff while the investigation is underway. So, in this solution, it helps to prevent further harm and ensures a fair and unbiased inquiry to also to uphold the school's disciplinary process.
The incident happened at Pughan Elementary School in Iloilo highlights a great violation not only the Code of Ethics but also in children's rights. Teacher Felina Rosales abuses her power as a teacher. The incident happened when a 7-year-old student accidentally bumped into his teacher. That led to a violent action that caused a severe trauma to a 7-year-old student. This case underscores the critical importance of adhering to the Code of Ethics, prioritizing student welfare, dignity, and safety. And it also emphasizes the needs for the accountability among educators, a robust safeguard, and protecting children's rights, ensuring the safety and conducive learning environment.
The code of ethics is essential in promoting a culture of respect, care, boundaries, and limitation of a teacher and professionalism in school. Its violation can have long-lasting huge consequences for students, making implementation enforcement imperative. Awareness of one's own action as a teacher is what the Code of Ethics wants to us to embrace. We, as a teacher, should know how to treat our student properly and know how to reflect in our own action to prevent this kind of cases from occurring. We always have to remember that our work is dedicated to students to both nourish and guide them as all our mighty, not to physically and mentally hurt them.